Now, in a way, by having introduced a pure paper money, you have then accomplished what all alchemists and their sponsors wanted to achieve. That is, you have produced something valuable, namely a money with purchasing power. Again, recall, with money, paper money can only keep purchasing power if it is monopolized, strictly monopolized. You have achieved a position where you have produced something valuable, money with purchasing power, out of something that is practically speaking worthless. And this is, of course, a wonderful achievement. It costs you practically nothing, and you can turn around and buy yourself something really valuable, such a house or a Mercedes or a BMW or whatever it is, and you can achieve these wonders not just for yourself, but you can achieve these wonders also for all your friends and acquaintances, of which you will, of course, quickly discover that you have far more all of a sudden than you used to have in the past. And among these many additional friends that you acquire by this miracle that you have achieved for yourself, among many of them will, of course, be plenty of economists, essentially all so-called macroeconomists, who explain then to the public why your monopoly is really such a great thing and good really for everyone. Now, what are the effects of this policy? Now, first and foremost, more paper money does not in the slightest affect the quantity or quality of all other non-monetary goods. There exist just as many other goods around as before. Now this immediately refutes the notion, which obviously up to 95, maybe 99% of all mainstream economists tend to believe, that more money somehow can increase social wealth. Now this is just to believe this, that more paper money can increase social wealth. As everybody proposing, for instance, a so-called easy money policy as an efficient and socially responsible way out of any type of financial or economic troubles must apparently believe, is to believe in magic, is to believe that stones, or rather paper, can be turned into bread. Let me emphasize again, this is the idiocy of the economics profession that we have in front of us. Practically every economist who appears on TV or is a big shot in the profession, wins Nobel Prizes and so forth, obviously believes this type of nonsense. The greatest example of all is Paul Krugman. I mean, this Paul Krugman, you have to just consider more as some sort of comic relief, his economic comments that he writes. Now, rather, what additional money, the additional money that you printed will affect are two things. On the one hand, money prices will, of course, be higher than they would otherwise be. After all, there is more money that has been brought into existence, and the purchasing power per unit of money will be lower than it otherwise would be. In a word, the result will be what we call, in colloquial sense, inflation. More importantly, however, all the while the greater amount of money does not increase the total amount of presently existing social wealth. That is, the total quantity of all non-monetary goods that exist in society is just additional pieces of paper. Everything else is just the same. What it does, it redistributes the existing wealth in society in favor of you and your friends and acquaintances. That is, those people who get the money first. You and your friends are relatively enriched. You own a larger part of the total social wealth at the expense of impoverishing others who as a result own less. Let me explain why this is. That is why income and wealth is redistributed, not increased in total, but redistributed. Those people who get the money first, that is of course always you, and then of course your immediate friends, you can still buy with the new money at the old low prices. Then prices gradually rise as the additional quantities of money ripple through the economy. But those people who get the new money last, or very late, or not at all, they are impoverished insofar as their income has not been rising at all, but prices are in the meantime higher. Just imagine somebody who has a fixed income. So he is on a fixed income, but as a result of me, as in charge of the government, spending additional sums of money, all the prices, many prices, to different degrees, have risen. So my real income and my real wealth has fallen. I am poorer, and those people who spend the money first at initially lower prices are richer. So emphasize again, as a very important insight, this is the most important insight that you can have about theory of money. Is the total quantity of money cannot increase, or increasing the total quantity of money cannot increase social wealth, but it can redistribute the existing wealth, make some groups in society richer at the expense of making other people poorer. Now, the problem for you and your friends with this institutional setup is not that it doesn't work. It works actually perfectly, always to your own and your friends' advantage, and always at the expense of others. All you have to do is avoid hyperinflation, because in that case people would avoid using money and flee into real values, and they would just rob you, so to speak, of the magic wand that you command. The problem with your paper money monopoly, if there is one at all, is only that this fact will be immediately, or at least in a short while, noticed also by others, and will be recognized as a big criminal rip-off that it in fact is. So it's not that it doesn't work, but people figured out that this is just a rip-off.